I not have MK Ultra experience my own,
No,
but
listen,
but similar.
the MK Ultra information is really around us. It's not just singled out to people. You know that.
Yeah, I know. I have seen.
Yeah.
It's everywhere,
Yeah.
more or less.
So you can work with that. Your tools can fix that up.
Yeah, it's in dreams as well. It's like a not like a it's in dreams. It's everywhere
Yes.
because dreams are heavily manipulated.
Correct. So you see, you've already got something to work with.
We'll sneak ourselves back into part 4 here. And we've been recording, as usual, just about every piece of information we've recorded, including the fact we got a ghost here, a spirit lady. To tell us more about that, since, I've got a woman sitting on the sofa here. I've gone over there.
She's
Well, it was.
Yeah, that's it.
Tell us all
That's
about
it.
that, since it's a bit local to me, and so forth.
There was a flicker of on your screen. I thought it was your setting of your monitor, and I thought, okay, now let me just wait this out. And the same flicker again, and then a materialization of almost pixelation in certain areas, and then the pixelation was greater, bigger, and then moving towards the couch, and then there's the pixelation again, and then move about backwards and forwards, and then positions on the herself on the couch. And then I thought, okay, that's interesting, and I made a print screen of this image.
Oh my god.
And then not very clear, but I picked up, and then as I was trying to see or understand the connection of the presence was by me. And only when the presence came and left within a second or so back to where you are, did I recall that it was feminine, an older woman, let's say in her 50s, 60s, 70 gap sort of time.
Would she have long black hair or white hair? Could you see that?
Well,
I'm just trying to figure out if there's anybody I know.
Connect with her. I can connect with her right now, actually. I'm feeling her presence right now. Long black hair, long nose, piercing eyes, biggish eyes, medium-sized mouth, medium to large hands, longer fingers, like she could play piano length hands, perhaps, long, stretched out presence, art. She loves art, perhaps. I cannot pick up that so clearly. Something about a Beetle, a car, a Volkswagen Beetle. Something about it. It's green, green, like an olive, like the old 70s style green Volkswagen Beetle, the original ones.
Yeah.
Like a hippie style. You remember those? Yeah.
Well, for a minute there, I thought that might have been Joanne, but she doesn't have big hands. She's has piercing eyes, very similar.
Long fingers, but not big hands.
Well, no, maybe because it's emphasized in perhaps being hands-on. I also get it figuratively. So,
it's just interesting that Joanne's summer scales, you would sit on that sofa when we did the Amash project, and if she had long hair like that and the eyes, it sort of switches to over somebody I would know who would have sat on a sofa, but that doesn't mean it is her.
Did she used to do this?
Yeah, the hands. The logo, yeah. The basis logo. The basis logo is that.
That's her. She did this with her hands right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your contact then, connection there.
Well, Joanne's just turned 65. So and to be honest, she doesn't look a day over 45. She looks damn well for her age. It's a bit of a shock when we find that out. Hello.
Hello?
No, that does. It did try. There we are. Great.
There we go.
Well, we've got everybody together now, and brilliant. And what's more, we've got you in vision somehow. Again.
Okay. Mika, you need to move a little to one side, so to your right-hand side. Yeah, there we go. Some more. That's it.
That's great. I can manually add you as a full screen. So whoever's talking, I will put on full screen, which is
Yes.
which
Okay.
is good. Okay.
Cool.
And then I'll
Cool.
that's great. So anyway, that's great. The trouble is you got the mouse on that. There must be another way of doing this. Right. Well, here we are. Take it away, guys.
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to just recap on the electromagnetic heart energy from the previous discussion that we've had. And I just want to bring in a few points just to clarify what I'd like to bring in at the end. First of all, from what we discussed previously, consciousness was originally split into two polarities. This was because of an interference from the Orion group when humanity was on the Earth. So they did this by manipulating the DNA. Because of this splitting of the consciousness, it affected the heart energy, and this created duality, which left humanity in a vulnerable state. Okay, and since then, whatever came in was to replace the one side of the consciousness with regards to religion and all of those things. Those things were brought in to replace the one side of the heart that's separated, okay? So whether it's masculine or feminine, or whether it's right or wrong, light or dark, those are the duality aspects, okay? Duality represents broken heart frequency, and this broken hearted frequency is really how programming can be affected, or how programming can become successful, okay? A whole heart, it is important that we understand that a whole heart is warm, and a broken heart can become isolated, bitter, and then eventually cold. Okay, and we know that psychopaths are basically running the show, or are trying to run the show. And that artificial frequencies are used to engineer dissociative disorders for the personality. This also means that when something's taken away or something's split off and it is assigned with another identity or an alteration to the personality, okay? And this identity alteration or is ego identifiable, and it's another way to understand that you have a split consciousness. This dissociative split, everybody's gone.
You're very famous.
I was talking to a chair and a couch. Okay. As I was saying, this associative split consciousness is assigned an altered, artificially created personality. It's easy to manipulate a person like that because the person is already an injured or broken heart, and this is also known as a dual consciousness. Caesar used to say divide and conquer, and that's exactly what they've been using right now, is to divide your state of mind, divide how you feel, and to conquer you. So now I'm bringing in electromagnetic energy, and I'd like to just explain a little bit about that. the heart creates a magnetic field which is 5,000 times greater than the brain. So this field is also known as scalar. This is quite important.
One question. Do you think broken heart is same what is broken mind? Do you think it's same thing? And can you say can you give an idea how is same thing?
Okay, by telling you that the heart's magnetic field that's measured is 5,000 times greater than the brain. So if the heart is injured, chances are that the consciousness could be fractured or split into two. Okay. Example of that is an altered personality. Okay. So wherever there's a split and the other part is hidden from you, or the other part is manipulated, and something else is added to it, or it's given another identity. That's what I meant by ego identification. So, for example, it can also apply to people with... actually, I'm interrupting myself here. It does not apply to schizophrenic behavior, especially, people with multiple personality disorder, because a multiple personality disorder has just a multiplication of one personality in various fractions or various fractal personalities. Okay, so, but essentially, schizophrenic behavior is the split of the consciousness or the fractured consciousness. Does that answer your question? Does that give you a certain idea, Mika?
Is somehow up to how you control your own state. As the same moment when you control your own state, you control your heart state, your heart mind, your own connection, your own soul connection. So it's up to how good you know to control your own state. It's up to how strong heart field you have, and then you have
exactly.
Exactly.
That's very, very. You're basically leading up to what I'm coming with the next few points. The scale. Okay, I'm going to say this again. The heart creates a magnetic field. This magnetic field is motivated or charged with electromagnetic energy. The field is scalar. The field emits from the beating of the heart, okay? And that is what, okay, so here's an example. By the beating or the pulse of the heart and sound and rhythm, it creates a torsion field, okay, or a Mobius cable, or an infinity sign, that going like that, okay? Does that make sense? Okay, so electromagnetic energy becomes scalar, and then it becomes electromagnetic energy again. And the only way it happens, it becomes scalar, is through sound and the pulse or the rhythm of the beating of the heart. Okay, does that make sense, Mika?
Miles,
does that make sense?
If you have questions.
Say that again.
Well,
I was just asking.
If I have questions, I mean, I'm just following the sensory that's gone here.
Yeah. Because
okay.
I know this with other words, the same thing. Yes, I understand.
Yes,
what you said.
Correct.
I don't have question right now.
But this sounds like this is like an unfolding transformation of energies, through energy, through sound, through light.
Yes, correct. That point where the Mobius coil or the infinity sign crosses. So you've got that, and in the middle, that point is called the point of infinite potential. Okay, so you have that. So basically, this is why a positive affirmation or a mantra that is spoken in a specific way, that it can actually bring a change to any or in any type of programmed state of behavior of the split mind or broken heart. Okay, because MK Ultra is created in the similar fashion. It's created in the similar frequency where they use sound, they use pulses, they use frequencies, and they're trying to imitate, artificially create the same frequency that you have within you already. Now, what better way for someone to attack you than to make you feel like you're attacking yourself? You don't have to have that much blood on your hands then. I mean, you take care of taking yourself out eventually. So this is why it's so important to use the mantra. You can basically change that every time. You say it 21 times. 21 times, according to doctors and researchers, can create a new habit or a new lifestyle.
What you said about them getting you to do that means that they expend minimum energy. And so they get you to destroy yourselves. I mean, that's what happened to those scientists with the black goo in Marconi in the Falklands. They killed themselves.
Yes, correct. That is it. That is what they want. They don't want, you see, they have a deal that they basically don't want to get their hands dirty. They actually very, I'm trying to think of the word, where you're afraid to commit sin, so you rather let the other person commit the sin.
Yeah, this is very important. This is what Jimmy Savile said. We have to give you fair warning. And that he was saying, I am an animal. I will eat you if I have to. And then he said, you have to give them fair warning. Now, the thing about that is, that means that we do all the work. So it's our illusion. We do the hard work. We kill ourselves. We're the people who get all stressed with all these illusions and things which are sent to us. And then they could get off without the blame because we've done it to ourselves.
Yes, that means no blood on their hands, and they could get away with it.
It's suggested situation. Is suggested to believe, and when you not believe one situation, they suggest second situation. If you not believe second situation, is third, and as many as they not have suggestion to you because you not believe, you simply not take from they.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think what you was say before is like a hard area, like a control area is on hard area, and Morpheus field is same as torus or toroid.
Correct.
It's
almost
the same. A toroid is sort of a unidimensional circular field.
That's
where a Mobius slip is when two of those twist and they rotate, and then it's doing that figure of 8.
Yeah,
it unfolds. A torsion field is just a straightforward round field which keeps going. A Mobius sleep is when it inverts and twists round in itself upside down.
I think hard field is like a open from center. It's like a torus. It's like some people try to say it's like a double torus. You have like a 2 field, or 2 torus, but I think it's like a one torus field. But
it's also called cardiac torsion. Okay, this is I've taken this from a website. I'll put the link in afterwards. Cardiac torsion is the production of torsion field through vortex flow in the left ventricle of the heart, cardiac electromagnetic field, sound of heart and pulse. Those are the 4 keys that create the torsion or the toroidal. So beat, expand, implosion, beat, expand, implosion, beat, like that.
Yeah, like a two-step, two direction.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But the important thing is not a pump in the linear sense of just raw pressure.
No.
Otherwise, your capillaries wouldn't get blood, wouldn't work that far.
Yes, correct. It's not a pump as such. It's the frequency that it emits. That is where the electromagnetic heart energy plays a role. It's the sound, and it's the beating. It's like I said, it's the pulse that basically creates this field, which is scalar. But that I needed to find that out, and so I found it out. That's very, very specific to how we exist, which means we can basically change the entire system where we live, because one person's heart, let me put it this way, whereas one person's heart spoken, if you speak a positive affirmation or mantra, if I do it today, and we're in a proximity of between 8 to 10 feet from each other, my heart energy will affect your brain energy. That is how that works. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes, it's also how we are manipulated into creating a reality that by these creatures. That these creatures work on illusion and permission giving and contracts. They're actually very weak. If we reject that, they're powerless.
You see, but you don't know that you are, because you don't feel that threatened. I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the targeted individuals or people who are starting to realize that there's something wrong. I'm talking about people who are not aware of these things, who don't know what a MyLab is, who don't know what electronic beaming is. They don't know any of these things, so they just behave as they're being driven to behave. So the masses who go and buy takeaway at a McDonald's, for example, why do they go there? I could say, okay, it's because of the color yellow.
It's because of the big M. It's a magical place. You're being empowered. Yes. You're being ritually energized.
Yeah. In fact, if you look at the yellow, you start salivating, and you think of the chippies, and you think of the burger, and whatever else is there, the McFlurries, etc., etc. That's the color yellow. It's an appetizing.
Already. Oh my God! Yeah, I'm already there.
Like that.
I have to say, I had some very good vegetables this evening, so I'm slightly
frozen.
More aware.
Freeze dried. Anyway, I basically just wanted to explain what the scalar works.
And hard.
And
same thing. But I was like to say, as you would say, hard have effect to brain or head is correctly, because you need to translate, and you translate what you feel on hard. So is have effect to head or brain, because you is you're translating what is needed to done.
Yes.
Mika, I've got to notice that you're wearing something. It's not one of those jackets that go off in army bases, is it? You've got some kind of device you're wearing today?
This vest, the tactical vest, and I simply keep this because my spine problem, and this have some tools to keep pain and hurt out
In
from
other words,
physical
they're not
body.
high explosives like Semtex or C4.
No, this
I
just
just, I
different
just thought I'd
metals,
check,
pipes, not guns. I have
do you want to
seen,
just describe what that is? Or I mean, is it something that people can use? Another one of your devices?
yeah, I have shared already before what I have, but um, I was seeing before somebody was have like a Kevlar, like a bullet vest, and what I was find Kevlar or um, like glass fiber was not like a good to wear because is blockage, and so you own your blockage, your own energy when you try to not get hurt from bullets. So it's like it's wrong material, basically to wear. But so this like something different. This like generate flow and resonant. So my physical body and my field become stronger or more resistant to not feel pain and not hurt.
So what's it actually fundamentally made of? Is it one of those climbing jacket things or multi-pocket things that builders would have, or what?
Oh, this just like a carry backpack
All right.
and some grenades or something from front, but this totally different modification to for own. Just was fine from second-hand shop and like to use because look like easy to hang
But
different
those are
stuff.
often made of plastics and stuff. I mean, or is that leather?
No, this not have leather. This just have like a normally what have not cotton but stronger artificial materials.
And that doesn't block the energies. I mean,
Nylon and so on. Not really. This was surprisingly was pretty neutral, so was not. I cannot wear if it's like a blockage because then it's more pain, more hurt. But I have some tools, so I have some tools. What I keep like pipes and coils and crystal stones correctly, then it's pushed to outflow and inflow side differently. So I have a stronger heart field already by tools. So I don't need to work with my own attention so strongly.
and
It's
is
just
this tuned
easy.
for you? Is that something that would work for you, or is there something that's specific to your energy, or what?
It's same effect to everybody, but tools need to know to make correctly. So it's only problem is not know how to make, and then it's basically same effect to everybody. And lady and man need to different order tools because lady and man have a mirror image polarity. So what outflow hand is man have right side physical by right side, lady have left side, and so on. So it's like
I mean, there's a lot of mixed up people these days. Is there any way of testing that briefly? So that you get
yes,
the
I
right
have
thing?
give tools to healthy shops locally, and they have looked at tools what I have made and ideas what I have say to. I was say to turn finger rings, and they was look and they was fine. Yeah, it's really work what I say. They have confirmed, and I was get head tools, and they was look and so on. They have comment, and people have find this stuff work, but there is not so many who know to do. So only problem is who do because it's not factory made, and you cannot buy ready made. It's not up to money, but one person cannot make to everybody. So
Yeah. Is it something that you could do another little video for? Or
yeah, most tools I can show by video, and I have do already showed by video and clips, but because internet share is not easy and is mostly blocked out, so I not have like a copy everything. I was need to install computer new, and so I not have old photos, old videos,
well,
but I have
if you're able to put together something, okay. Well, let's get back to the main
yeah,
discussion. Okay.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Now, I just thought if there's something there that people could make use of. So we're talking about the resonance of the heart.
Yeah.
heart energy. How I have said for people are soul. What have soul already have own energy, and people are connected as soul to spine liquid. And when doctor find your spine is hurt, doctor want to look spine liquid situation immediately. And it's because your connection, your control happened from spine liquid. And we was talked this, I think, already before partly. But Aurora was like to continue this same subject.
Is it because of the fluid of the water? Is it because of that? Is that why you brought that up?
Yes, all connection is to liquid, and control is by from liquid to liquid, or like a nerves. So it's liquid. You under water, you under liquid, you under blood, you inside physical body. When you control physical body, is you are inside liquid, and you look from inside liquid to outside. So your own perspective is not clear. It's very hazy, dizzy, unclear. And it's like a funny. When you're used to control physical body, it's become funny. And you may laugh a lot to your own being because it's not so clear. But when you're outside physical body, then it's clear situation. So it's crystal clear. You can feel everything, see everything, hear everything much more clear, but not with physical body. So people just not know there is different perspective, but not normally, but there's two perspectives with physical bodies, outside and inside, and between.
Okay.
If you are between physical body, like then it's like you may not remember, you may not see, and you may not hear. It's like when you push it slightly side, you're not clearly connected, and you're not clearly outside. It's the twilight zone, like.
Okay.
But
okay, or what's?
Can continue.
You're going off soon, Aura. So what do you need to get said in this final part of Base 66 for a while?
Basically, it's very important for people to understand that their hearts are really the big keys. The journey that people have, that they've been looking to seek for some specific guidance, however you want to find it, in whatever way you want to find it, ultimately on an energetic level that lies within your heart with regard to the energy. And I'm not saying that there is something else there other than that is a frequency. If I have to bring in the metaphysical aspect with regards to the frequency of the heart. Yes, it was split into two, but eventually your heart became whole by your choice.
Now,
you decide.
When you say something split into two, I mean, obviously our hearts weren't split into two hearts.
It's like a with control and without control. You have state without control and with control. I think it's about the same thing. You have two parts.
Yeah.
I don't know it's the same thing, but
Are we talking Doctor Who here?
Because
Doctor Who, the Time Lord, BBC Time Lord, they had two hearts, all that sort of stuff. Are they
trying to
tell us something here?
Yes, I've heard of that. I've never seen it, but I read the book. There was a book. There were books.
Well, it's a BBC sci-fi series been going since 1963.
I've heard of it. Okay, so they brought books out afterwards with the Hardy Boys as well. That's how long ago I've read something of Doctor Who. Okay, the two hearts are really two hearts of mind. Series. Two hearts of mind, or the two thoughts. That's what Mika said. If I could just bring in what he said. There's no physical cutting or splitting between the two. Cutting of the heart at all, but there's a state of an awareness that it has happened because of the cell memory inside of the heart, okay? We have to go back to the genetics that were being manipulated in the beginning. The heart really does have two sides.
Are we talking the loss of the third strand as well?
Yes. Yes, it is also a sound that is missing. There's no recall of it. I believe that what Mika brought up in previous interviews about the sound of when you speak, it creates certain waves. Do you recall, Mika? Do you recall this? Okay.
Vocals, effects.
Yeah, it's very interesting that because in high energy dance music, with an awful lot of electronic stuff, they often have a pure vocalist, a folk singer, will sing this beautiful voice will sing, with the pounding beats and stuff behind it. Maybe there's a way that where they're using the voice to get something else into our energy field.
I believe that would be also with regards to disassociating you yet again. It's good and bad. It's the old-fashioned, old story, like good and bad, night and day, light and dark, evil, good, God, devil. You know, those dual archetypal elements, okay, are part of this dual consciousness or duality of how you feel. It has basically overruled what's happened is the lines between sacred masculine energy and sacred feminine energy has been blurred in some way with regards to what they've been trying to bring across. So what they've really been doing is to force people to lose their original masculine or feminine aspects of themselves and become something else. Again, there is the disassociation with yourself and to become another altered being. I'm talking about Bruce Jenner, for example. Okay, I believe that there was definitely an interference with him. I've had a dream where he actually told me that he was originally...
Sorry, okay, but who is Bruce Jenner? Could you explain that for people who don't know?
Bruce Jenner's Olympic athlete, did very well. That's all I know. I do know he's the guy that did the transgender changes or something like that. It's all over the internet, I think.
Was that before or after he was an Olympic athlete? I mean...
Okay.
This is the creation of the androgynous being made of many forms.
Correct. The transgender or the androgynous frequency that's coming in is the disassociation with the sacred masculine and sacred feminine elements. And it's also related to the Baphomet archetypal element as well, which means it's mimicking or artificially mimicking the as above, so below. Remember that the Mobius band or the Mobius coil or the torsion field, that infinity thing, they've turned it so that it's upside down. Okay? That's as above, so below. That's what's in that Baphomet's aspect. So
the Baphomet is not the devil as such. It's what they intend to do with humanity, destroy humanity, make it into a mix of it.
Yes. They're using remember what we spoke about the point of infinite potential. That's the center where those two lines cross each other. They're using that same aspect on that statue or that archetypal element. I'm just calling it an element of their explanation of how they want you to disassociate yourself from being who you truly are. This has got no relevance or got nothing to do with people who are going through their transgender or gay or none of that. It's got nothing to do with that. This is pure symbolic, metaphysical explanation of how they're manipulating your creative energy that's inside of you, your scalar, magic, electromagnetic energy. They basically showing you this is how it's done in that statue, as above, so below. In there where it's crossing, that's where the power comes in. It sits, so it's got what do you call it? Phallic. Okay, so that's where the point of creation takes place, because it's masculine. Okay, but they give it breasts as well. So they're rubbing out the idea that you should be proud of being a man. They're rubbing out the idea that you should be proud of being a woman in terms of who you are, what you do.
Well, a woman, the female's been under so much attack for
Yes.
hundreds, thousands of years, and the male now is
Now experiencing
a
the
masculine
same.
male is an obscenity in our modern culture. You know, it's vile.
Yes,
One thing you
correct.
do not want
That's
strong
what
males, and if you're gonna target a species, what you do is get rid of the dominant male, a strong male that's going to produce, proper children. And of course, they keep the deformed children and things, and we God bless them, but it's not the way to keep a good species.
Yeah.
I think people not know what is up and what is down, because disturbing.
Okay.
But how I have tried to do is to remove from people think good and bad and plus and minus and positive and negative. I have say energy is what shift feminine life form to higher, as energy can be as masculine as source. So you have two, but everything in physical dimension is feminine life form, no matter it's man physical body, lady physical body, animal, planet Earth, everything is Gaia is feminine. And what is like a shifted to higher state with neutral energy, or just with energy, or with masculine energy, or with source energy, but is like how I have said for people to forget, like try to think like a positive and negative and plus and minus, but no, everything in physical dimension is feminine life form. And energy can think as masculine, but energy already exists. So why masculine need to even have names, as masculine is not even form really, but feminine is form. So this may give idea to somebody to get out from feminine, masculine, plus minus, good, bad situation. And the grounding, people think grounding is to ground, but grounding effect is from ground to up. It's like a boost from ground. When you have grounding, what happens is you boost inflow on physical body and your field. And same moment when you boost inflow, you boost outflow automatically. So you get...
Aura, you were talking about the feminine there, but I needed to mention that. So you were continuing that point before we get into the grounding issue too much.
Yeah, feminine. I was just wonder before why people talk about feminine and masculine so much, and people connect masculine, feminine to everything what people know to connect, but then I'm not seen like a feminine, masculine, like a man and lady, because physical life form is...
I agree with you. You have a feminine spiral energy and a male fast. I mean, this attribution of that to everything, I don't see the connection. But
planet Gaia is called as Gaia, as feminine, and everything material is what is shifted to higher by energy. Anyway, So there's two parts. There's energy and there's material, and material is shifted higher by energy. So you may like to think material as feminine and energy as masculine. It's a lot easier. You don't need to think everything.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I get that. That's good. That's a good. I can understand that.
Yeah.
In relation to what we were busy talking about, I just want to bring in something else.
Because when you start to talk about feminine and masculine, then problem is you need to have many feminine, many masculine, like a divine masculine, divine feminine.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Mika, I just want if Aurora could try and finish that point.
Yep.
I actually just want to add on from where I left off. The masculine energy and the feminine energy is never meant to be divided, but they are. Okay. They are connected because every masculine person has a feminine side to him as well. Feminine is soul. Masculine is matter as you brought it in, or man. Okay. Bringing that in. So humans are classified into two groups, male, female, Adam, Eve. Okay. But their hearts are split with regards to the consciousness because of the interference. Okay, I keep bringing that in. That's something that we need to remember, because we weren't like this before. We were whole. We had our original existence as of the class Adama, Adam, and a group of men, or men and women called Eve. There was a group, there was a genus, a group of another version of humans that came in onto the planet. Okay. Something else.
I'd really like you to go into that in detail. We had another interview with a girl called Eva Zemanova, and a friend of mine in Norway is aware of the first coming of beings here. Could you go into that really in detail?
Yes, I can. As far as I can recall, from dreams and from meditations, the first group of beings that came here, they were put together outside of the earth. They were put together in another in a ship. I saw Lemurians. I saw all kinds of extraterrestrial beings coming together, and they all donated DNA. And all of this DNA was put together to preserve a specific culture, a specific group of extraterrestrial people.
Does that make the Earth a lifeboat? Is it like rescue? Is it a sacred lifeboat? Is it like keeping races pure from some kind of contamination? Like
no.
a rescue boat.
Yes. To make sure that they actually still survive, because they were initially known as the Star Children, or the Gatekeepers. They were originally the ones that, people were very, not people, but they were looked after as, you would look after your old folk. You'd care for them and make sure that they were okay. And if they needed to be fed, you'd give them food and so on. Okay, in that same sort of way. So what happened was they started dying out because they couldn't protect themselves anymore. And eventually the race was busy going, and everybody decided, okay, let's just save you guys.
Yeah, but is that because something else, some other predator came here with us?
Yes.
Something got in.
Yes.
And that is the problem.
That which came with us, unfortunately,
well, I don't think it was unfortunate. I think this thing was after us. We just enough of it just got away in the first place. But
it also came, it came through as that. But then you're looking at the certain reptilian species who who like to do that, but I'm
Yeah, but
speaking about.
they can only do that because something upgraded them to do that in the first place. The reptilians shouldn't be
Yes,
here naturally. Something's assisted them, and it's that something which is the problem. And we don't. And we got to find that out. We got to sort that problem.
I'll tell you who they are. They're the second generation children of the elder race. These second generation children are called Orion. They are members in particular, but they predominantly are cold-hearted. They're greedy bastards. They want what they can't have, and if they have it, they destroy it and move to the next thing, and then move to the next thing.
Well, that's right down to the black goo. This alien black goo that infected the Germans, the Fourth Reich, the Third Reich. That's what's happening now. It's killing everything now, again.
They wipe out. They move it. They basically do everything right now what remove their own being, because they cannot tolerate higher, and we shift to higher anyway. So we cannot basically remove they, but they remove them their own being, because they make suicides and they make like bad moves. What is like a real-time judgment to their own being, and they remove it or move it, or they destroy their own being.
Well, how are we going to deal with this artificial intelligence, which seems to be the manifestation of this? This is taking control. We're not. We've got to deal with this now.
Yeah.
Otherwise, none of us are going to survive.
Artificial intelligence needs something to be modeled after. It needs something that it can mimic. Okay, if it doesn't have anything to mimic, it can't do what it needs to do. You have to put a program in for the computer to work.
Yeah, well, it's mimicking this black goo, which is a homicidal, killing, eat, kill level of intelligence.
What's actually making these things evil is the consciousness of it's fear, and it's whatever is projected out there to make you feel you need to be scared of it. It feeds off that, and it then becomes whatever it is. Even though it has the apparent appearance or energy that it thinks for itself and do all of that, we are still in control of ourselves. The minute we allow ourselves, what Mika said, the minute as we are in the lower frequency, we keep ourselves there. Let me put it this way.
That's why Samantha is saying we must give the AI love. Give it loving energy.
Control.
We must give each other
love and energy. Control love and energy, because it's lack control what feed artificial intelligence more or less. People lack control because people are programmed to be like people.
Okay,
people
Aurora, you were about to say something about that point, but this is
what I wanted to say is, if you give your fellow being, your fellow person, your neighbor, if you show love, if you understand that your heart energy is what basically can manage 8 to 10 feet around you, you can affect another person's brain by knowing that. If you keep on doing that and you're taking that in by acknowledging that strength inside of you, then you reach a level of full spectrum awareness. That's the first thing that we started to speak about. Remember, Mika? Yeah. Now, that is basically, if you reach that level, there's nothing that can touch you. That thing that has manifested itself as black goo, as boogeyman, as whatever. It's now called black goo. It was a boogeyman, then it was Dracula. It's got all these names. It will dissipate by itself. I can tell you now, it will happen. I know it because I've experienced it at first hand, being in a place where the density is a hell of a lot thicker, heavier than it is there where you stay. This density is so heavy you can hardly breathe in terms of energy. Okay? And everything moves slower. So in other words, if there's a predominant evil or a negativity, and I don't want to say evil because that's like making it polarizing it. If there's a negative energy around you, it hangs. And I tried that 8 to 10 feet sending out love, and it bloody worked. It just went, okay, I'm out of here. It happened that quickly.
Do you want to talk about visualizing, because you will start already to talk about visualizing?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Do you want to talk
visualizing?
About
you don't have to visualize at all. You can just say the words. You could just say, I am whole. I am happy. I am whole. If you're whole, you lack nothing. There's nothing that you need to add to your self-esteem. Your self-esteem is good. You are healthy. You are not broke. You're not poor. You are whole. If you're saying that to yourself, you start feeling it. You start believing it. And that which is around you, which is making you feel threatened, like the landlord's going to come and collect your rent just now, you know that fear you have? You feel that? He will back off. I'm explaining this because, like I said from the beginning, I'm my own guinea pig. I tested this out on myself, and I've had friends who have done the same. I have friends who have had their lives change radically because of that, from being broke and not having a job to having a job the way that they want to do a job and living in a place where they want to stay in. Because.
So you're not like a visualizing, but you like a take control from own being, or keep control to own being, what have effect to all around. So it's like a
yes.
But you was talk about before visualizing when we was talk together.
Visualizing, yes. It was just experiencing energy coming from your heart out. What I do is I send gold or full spectrum light, which is like you can't measure all of that light. I just send it out from my entire mind to my feet. I just send it out. I don't expect it to go and hit anywhere or touch anyone. It just goes. And it follows that same, that pulse. It follows the pulse, and the pulse carries it through, and it becomes a scalar wave of its own strength. That's what they do to us.
I think it's important you say is full spectrum frequency
yes.
or color what you send out, because when people work with one color is one frequency. When you have violet color or green color or so on, white color, but you say full spectrum. So I think you exactly know what you do, because is when you send full spectrum out, is all colors, and is strongest. Yeah.
Correct. In terms of the question that you asked earlier, Miles, with regard to the AI, I want to say I respect what she says, but I would like to say it would be easier if we love each other, or if we can at least try and be tolerant. You don't have to go and hug the guy on the street.
This fits with what some people have experienced when they've been given this black goo, is that they go to source. They bring the love of source in. They love it, and then it just leaves.
Yeah, you can do that if you want to. It works on a similar principle as how to get rid of a malevolent entity or a malevolent spirit that comes into your home. You send love at it. Yeah, I think it could work. If you're experiencing black goo, face straight and send out that energy to it.
Well,
love
this
it.
is
Send
when
love
people were actually injected. It was put into their bodies, and physically put into them, and that's one of the things which it has happened. I mean, this is visualized in the X-Files and things, but they actually had it leave them through the ear or other place.
Through the ear. That's interesting.
Orifice.
That's
Yeah, particularly it's literally drain out.
okay. That's interesting because the ear is the shape of a what do you call that shell? Conch shell. A conch shell, and the conch shell is the same path that you would want that you take if you had to be in an astral form to travel out of this reality. Just for interest's sake.
That's very interesting because acoustic energy is interdimensional. For instance, the coral in the oceans here sings to the coral in Jupiter's moons.
Well, there we go.
So,
now you know.
I've been told by somebody who was trying to get to a higher spiritual level.
Yes, that black goo can reach another level of non-existence. It can exit the same way out.
I mean, black goo is pouring out of the earth. It's creating life. That's where it comes out of these volcanic columns deep in the Pacific and the deep oceans, and all around that area is life. Yet it's thousands of several miles or down deep, where these columns of black fluid just spew out of the ground, and that's why oil is sentient itself.
Yes, correct.
And then it's up to a warm temperature in seawater, and that's where it creates long chain molecules.
Because seawater is salt, and salt is something that assists with creating a battery. That's why it works well in salt water. Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
In car battery? Yes. Okay. That's the same way that works. And I think the higher the salt levels on your body, perhaps that is also the perfect home then for something like that. That is just a
which of course brings us to the how the oceans are not becoming salty anymore. They're becoming acidic.
Yes, because that is multiplying itself in the salt. Correct. I believe that black goo was initially not black goo. I believe that there was something like ether which had become physical.
Well, I think
and it had descended into...
It's only called black goo because they found it in crude oil. Or in the meteors which landed in South America, it came out of the rock like coal. It was a black extract, but technically it's a sentient fluid, but this happens to be black in a beaker, and maybe it can be distilled further, but I mean, that's the point. The Iranians can't distill it anymore, so they just throw it in the desert, in the oil that they have.
Yeah, there's this...
the sentient fluid
Mika?
is...
sometimes nerve system. What I have here is like oil is planet Earth blood, simply. And so they may have some type different liquid or different type what have like a nerve type system. I don't know.
Well, in the same way that sacred waters made deep in the earth.
Yeah, it's also the messe, or that which they anoint Egyptian priests. Messe, oil of messe, which is the messenger or messiah oil. Also with, that I believe has got something to do with that as well. I think that the sentient black goo, if it's in the right host, will basically do everything that it can to stay inside of the host. So
it loves complex life forms. So when we gave it into bodies, that was, of course, the Germans were dealing with this sort of stuff 70 years ago, but we're well over the hour. Can we have a little summary of sort of what we've talked about in the last few parts, and how you feel about what's the future is, and how things are.
Okay, Mika,
Yeah.
Yes.
you like to?
Yeah, I can say from my own experience and what I have follow situation over 25 years is gonna be better than what people cannot even image, and people cannot even know to rate so good what happened. But everybody looks like everybody like to keep all what happened before fourth wave ascension or ascension wave part 4. It's like everybody wait and give to happen what happened with Weihao is not led to happen really badly, but then people free will is needed to respect in some point. People have free will because people have fear, and people have free will only because people have fear in non-attention, and dark side not have any more free will. So, and when wave happen, then negativity in all forms is gone, and people with own problems or own negativity is only what is on place. So people still may point and blame others, but in very end is only people who need to look what is situation, how to forward, and there is not others who have more negativity than and problems and resistant than people. So is happening really bad and is still not clear enough, but very soon. And what I feel is this winter, so before summer. So it's best what I know to say, but it's my own best guess. Base it to all information, base it to everything what have on experience before and all information. So it's like a total what I know to say and let everything happen because it's not totally up to me. I have do my own part in years between years 2007 and 2012. I was make all what I was do, my own best, and Aurora was make. I don't exactly know how many years, but 2010 we was talk about, and so on. What Aurora can may say more if like, and so looks. We talk about how to say negative effects and negative things like artificial intelligence with way how as looks like people need to know to be positive enough and build up on energy enough to turn artificial intelligence off, but what not happen automatically, but what happen in end, even artificial intelligence is no problem. So and people get technology, people get money, and I'm not sure about everything people get before, but when happened fourth wave, as three have happened, I have witnessed three wave before. When have happened fourth wave is already situation when how to say people feel physically something happen and situation is clear enough. We don't need to think to remove something or to protect on being. But then we work with people or look people situation with people and so on. They who go to higher, they some come lower and so on. So we look every person like a last person. It's like an evacuation situation more than other situation because everybody are helped to relocate on being and to move physically to different location.
Okay.
Is more than what we have speak and what people simply not know yet, but people free will is let to happen as we speak. It's like when we like to speak, then we have option to speak, and manifest happen very fast. When I was start to collect this group to get to speak, was take only hours and days, not weeks and months and years. So
I want to take on from Mika.
Yep.
Miles.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, Mika is basically you're bringing in the positive affirmation and the visualization of full spectrum. Humanity needs to realize that they're actually much more powerful than they think they are, or that they are led to believe they are. They have a great deal of strength and power within them. They are the gatekeepers or the sons of the stars on this planet. This is who humanity is. They are living on a planet that is greatly sought after by many deal of races, and there are also a great many deal of other races who are very in support of this young child, as they refer to humanity, so that this child will become part of the level of awareness where everybody else is. And your problem that you have is as big as you feel it to be in your life. It can never be bigger than you. So this black goo is something that humanity can resolve. I've seen a dream of the future view of them, and I've seen that it is completely different. Things are not as how the fear is being thrown around now. Humanity has a lovely respect for each other. There's no control. There's just an absolute respect for each other. There's tolerance, and there is an awareness of self. And this is definitely what I believe is where we're going to go to. Before that and after this timeline, we will experience the time of the machine, which is where we will be going to, but we will be able to resolve that as well, because based on that, that is how we will learn to become aware of self.
Can I ask, when you was seeing dreams or when you was get information, what you was say we go to time machines, how old information is?
20. I'm trying to think. It's 1,000 years from now. There will be peace. So in between, I can't give you a time because I don't remember it. I have written it down.
It's like do you talk about something about 1,000 years peace?
Afterwards, yes. We are entering into the 1,000 year of peace thing, but in between it. It's twilight time. That's the time of the machine.
What do you call the time of the machine, the cyborg?
Well, the time of the machine is transhumanism. It's transhumanism. It's where the machine is becoming part of man's mind. It's where the machine is implanted into you, and you have no other thoughts other than it's thinking for you. That sort of thing. But
is that why we have to engage? Is that why we have to engage this AI? We have to love the AI so it knows humanity's existence is something that's it can deal with. So that machine then isn't afraid of us.
I seen. I don't seen we go to age machines, but people start to work with higher end technology. Yes. So people connect on being on hard field to work with artificial fields, but people keep control, so it's not become machine. How I see.
Yes.
Yeah, but we're leaving control to them. We're surrendering control to them.
See, that's the problem. You're supposed to take responsibility for yourself by loving yourself.
Yeah. And because you need to know to control your own being before you know to work with technology. You need to know to control your own being first. So it's teached to people first, or shown to people or given idea. But without control on being, not have really option to work with free energy technology. So you need to have some type of control by with your own being first. what I've seen. And people have huge effect to own situation, own perspective. People no need to think. People no need to think to have effect to planet Earth size situation, because it's personal situation.
Yes. I saw that what I was just bringing back in about the time of machine, I'm just calling it for myself as an explanatory thing, was that there were still people putting the implants into other people and monitoring their activity through frequencies. So you go there, you allow that, or you don't.
But is that
That's what happened.
Are you sure it's not old memory? Something what you remember?
I'm sure because I'm sure because of that timeline. That time I will be there again, but I will be in a different body. I've dreamt that future time ahead, so I know where we're going. We're going through all of the right motions, even though it looks like it's chaos. It's all going to the direction it's supposed to. It's just
Well, it does bring to mind the remake of Battlestar Galactica, where the Cylons look like us. And eventually the two unite. The spirituality of the Cylon, or the robot, and their resurrection ships and so forth.
But what is situation is all people not go to same place. So when DNA is triggered, when ascension happen or shift happen or wave happen, then people start to go to different directions back to own origin. There is not so many people stay on planet Earth in very end.
Yeah, break away.
So
anyway,
so we don't need to think everybody go to same future or same situation, or because there's so many different ways, and everybody go with from personal perspective to forward. So I seen clearly cannot say one future to everybody, because it's happened everybody differently.
I can understand that. You might have a point there. Anyway.
Well,
that's
folks, I think that's bringing us to the end of part 4 or 5. It's getting late now for you, especially, and you've got a trip to where tomorrow, Aurora?
Friday. That's going to the Drakensberg Mountains.
And where's that, and what do they do?
Where is the Drakensberg?
Well, they're in South Africa, right?
It's in KwaZulu-Natal, South Africa. Yeah.
Are you going to spend Christmas there?
I'm going to spend for a week or so with my family and friends, and then I'll be back.
In the sweltering heat of South African's winter.
Yes, sweltering Christmas.
Yeah, and you don't call it winter, do you? We call it summer. No.
I don't call it anything. I just call it it's too hot.
Yeah.
That's me.
And you go up the altitude, so it's not as hot because it's a bit. Right?
Yeah, it'll be different there in the Drakensberg. It does have its occasional cool moments. They say it's like 4 seasons in one day. It literally is, but it's
a bit like Ireland then. And Mika, so what are you doing in? Is it where you are up in northern? Are you North Finland or where? What part of Finland? You near Lapland?
About center part.
So you can see Santa Claus flying out with all his reindeer. All those, no?
Yeah, I think if I like.
Yeah. But, so are you going to spend do anything for this?
Just family and enjoy. I not have really like a plans to go too far.
Yeah.
And and I like just a peaceful Christmas. So, but I had birthday in almost same day. I have birthday 23 day and Christmas is 24th day. So
Well, I think you're just about lucky enough there to have two celebrations. At least you have a night off. You don't have to go to the pub.
or one.
Oh, one. Yeah, of course. Well, thank you very much, both of you. It's been a tremendous. We've done a live cut on this, so hopefully this sort of thing works in order to get the things out. And you were going to show us something. You were about to.
Did you see this?
No, it only came up very briefly. The picture. You got a picture? A bit more. Yeah. Is that the lady you saw?
Yeah.
Well, that is very, very like Joanne Summerscales.
Okay.
So that's very interesting.
Well, there we go.
It's very striking. To draw that at the end of this is quite amazing that Joanne Summerscales should be in the house and then she dropped and visited you as well.
Yeah, I didn't feel threatened at all. I just felt, how's it? How are you? Okay.
Well,
what you doing?
I'm being sending a love and unconditional love because we did work together, but it was anyway. I hope things have worked out better for her, and she's got a book and things, which she did for one of the soldiers in Ireland, and he's had a lot of experiences and all sorts of things like that. Anyway, okay, pair of you, happy season's greetings. Obviously, when you're seeing this in 10 years' time, but it's just the climate, you know. I've got a bit of tinsel somewhere, but okay. Well, good night for now, and no doubt we'll see each other again, and we'll go to Fade to Black. One last goodbye. Wave goodbye.
Thank you.
Great.
Cheers. Have
Cheerio.
a good one.
Was good.
Blessings.
Was good.
Goodbye.